Hey, what's up guys? This is Jaden here and welcome to another video. And in this video, I'll be showing you how to grow your business online during the COVID-19 period. In this period, a lot of us are stuck at home and a lot of businesses are affected. Retail is not doing so well. And if you have a physical location and if your business requires you to meet people directly face to face, you're gonna suffer from this period, right? So I came up with a video to help you sort of bring your business online digitally because that's where everybody are right now. Okay, so be prepared. You're gonna be learning a lot of stuff. So I don't think it'll be a short video. It's gonna be a long video because there will be step by step. There will be step by steps instructions given to you. Templates will be given to you. All right. So now, I'm not just saying this because of what I think. Ultimately, that's what I really feel. And, results, data has shown that, it's kind of what's going on right now in the world. So this is an article from Forbes. As you can see, the COVID-19 pandemic is fast-tracking digital transformation in companies. And companies who are able to use technology well to keep going and rethink their business model for the future by fast tracking digital transformation will be the ones that will be ahead of their competition. Okay, so I need to remind myself to speak slowly. Okay, so what does this mean? This means that a lot more companies are moving and shifting into digital, right? They are doing a digital transformation. And if your business is not digital, if your business is not online, or if your business is already online, you can double down on that, right? You can double down on all your social, on your online assets. And this is another post by Harvard Business Review. Coronavirus is widening the corporate digital divide, right? So universities shift fully to online teaching, even restaurants transition to online ordering and delivery. So if you own a business that is not digital yet, that is not online yet, or haven't established yourself online, or even if you're already online for a long time, you can definitely use this to double down on your online efforts because let's face it, right? Customers are going nowhere but online, right? They are on lockdown, they can't go anywhere, they are stuck at home, and guess what? You are going nowhere too. So this is the perfect time for you to double down and go hard, push hard on your online assets, on your online business, to bring your business online, to really expose your business online to all these customers. Okay, and don't worry, this is not a cost to sell you. There's no cost here. There is nothing to be sold here. I'm just thinking of what businesses need right now at this moment and giving the value that and doing my part in this whole pandemic. Now, at the end of the video, or at the start of the video, actually, you will even get a template that I've done. If you're to use this template, you can find out and churn out the different kinds of content that you can do for your business. Okay, so at the end of the video, at the end of this tutorial, you will definitely learn how to come up with popular content that is backed by data, which is search volume and all the other stuff like that, right? So you will learn how to come up with all these popular content, either for YouTube, if you plan to do videos, if you like videos. If not, then if you are a writer, if you like to write, then there will also be a section for blog content as well. Okay, so every single step will be broken down into 5 steps. Okay, so before we even start talking about the 5 steps, okay, the step 0 will be you need to have a online asset. Your business need to have an online asset. So the online asset can be your website, can be a website, can be a Facebook page, your online Facebook page, can be a YouTube channel that your business owns, can be a LinkedIn channel that your business owns, or LinkedIn profile. But you cannot move on if you do not have an online asset. And if you do not have an online asset, I urge you to create one, because as you know, with what is going on right now, everyone, literally almost everybody, is going online because they got nothing else to do, nothing much else to do. and most of your customers are going online. So if you're not where your customers are, which is online, then you're gonna be missing out a lot, right? So later on, I'll be explaining to you all the steps involved in this, and then I'll be showing you live. I'll be going through on my laptop to show you the exact steps that you need to do. So this is step 0. Now step 1, you'll need to download this template. This template is free of charge. Don't worry, you don't have to pay anything for it. Once you've downloaded this template, you can either download it in the description. I'll put the link, and later on in the video explanation, I will show you. I will explain to you where to get it and how to set up the template. So once you have set up the template, at the end of the tutorial, you receive a bunch of free tools that you can use. Don't worry, in this period of time, nobody would want to spend that much money, right? So all the tools that's mentioned in this tutorial will be free of charge, so not to worry. And then in step 2, you will learn the potential keyword of a content. So after you've come up with a list of content that you want to write about, which one should you write? Which ones are the ones that are more popular? So we will list down all these content and we'll give them data so that you can have a clear overview of which one should you decide to write for or decide to video about for your customers. And then next, we will, this is like what I mentioned earlier, where we will go through the overview of the content, the volume of the content, and basically give all the content ideas that you have that is generated with all the data that is needed for you to prioritize which one should you go for, okay? And then next, step 4 is now you're after gathering all the data, you will learn how to put them into sort of like positions. So if a content is rated priority number 1, you will want to create that content first, and then priority 2 next, priority 3, so on and so forth. Okay, so that's for step 4. And then for step 5, you don't just want to create a content, you want to how would I say, pimp your content up with like graphics, and make sure your content is not only on one of your social media platforms or on your website. You want to deliver that content out to as many platforms or as many online assets that your business owns, right? So these are the 5 steps. And then let me bring you over to starting from step 1. So from step 1, you need to download this content, this template, right? So this template I've done up, it's free for you guys to use. So all you have to do is I've already shared this link with everybody else, so you can go ahead and get the link. And then once you have the link, let me see. So once you have the link will look something like that. Okay, so once you have the link, all you have to do is just sign in to your email, right? So I'm just going to do a example. And then, okay, so it's going to ask my password. So anyway, once you have signed in already, you will have to make a copy. So under here, under file, just click make a copy, and then this will save into your Google Drive. All right, so that's the first step you do. So once you've got the template, basically I'll explain to you how the template works. Okay, so this template is meant to be easy to use and simple to understand. So as you can see here, I've listed down step 1, step 2, and step 3. So you literally just follow step 1, what do you need to do? Step 2, what do you need to do? And step 3, what do you need to do? Okay. Now, step 1 is you have to go to this website. It's called Answer the Public. And then I've even gotten the URL. So you just have to click and you will be directed to the URL straight away. And this is the second one. And these are like instructions for you to follow. Okay. And then this is for blog posts. Now, if you want to create content for YouTube, this is a template for YouTube which you can use. So for blog posts is this template, and then for YouTube is this template. Okay, so I'm going to go with the blog post first. Now, once you have look through the template. The first step you need to do, okay, the first step you need to do, just follow this. So you go to answer the public. Now, answer the public is a website that sort of generates content and give you content ideas that you can use, that you can create. Okay, so I'm gonna assume I'm gonna be coming up with because I want to do it with you together, right? So I'm gonna come up with a random niche. Okay, say for example, I'm a company that sells knitting needles. Okay, knitting needles. Wow, say that 10 times fast. Okay, so for example, I'm a knitting needles company. So the first step you need to do, okay, the first step you need to do, okay, is come up with 3 keywords. Okay, what do I mean by keywords? Keywords are words that maybe something that your company will sell, or something that's related to your industry, or just a word or phrase that you want your website to appear for, okay, in Google. So for example, in this case, my company is, say for example, knitting needles. So this is the product, and knitting skills, or knitting equipments, and say for example I have knitting classes, right? So these 3 are the keywords that is related to my business, assuming I own a knitting needles company, right? So now what I do next is, all you have to do is just put in the first keyword, okay? And before you do anything, just remember, change your country to your respective country, or the country that you want to target, or where your potential customers are. So in this case, I'm going to put United States. If I can find it. United States there. And then all you have to do is to click search. Now, these will generate a ton of data for you to use, okay? But don't be overwhelmed. I'll walk you through step by step, okay? So once you have generated this, ignore this questions part. You will need this section, okay? But you will need it later on in step 3. So for step 1, what you want to do is come down all the way to alphabets, okay? And while it's loading, just give it a while to load. Now, remember one thing: when you are searching for this, or when you're using this keyword research tool, not a keyword research tool, but when you're using this platform, do not close this tab, okay? Do not exit out of this tab, because every day for the free version, Answer the Public only allows you to search for, I think it's 2 to 3 times. So you don't want to exit this out. If you reach your daily limit of 2 to 3 times, then you can only do a search next day. Okay, so while it's waiting to populate, so the idea here is, this is my after my third list, after coming out with these 3 keywords, you will want to filter out. You want to see what are the potential keywords that what are the potential content that you can write for with this alphabet data that they give you, okay? And it's taking a bit slow for them to load. But essentially, you will generate a ton of content ideas from A to B to C to D, all the way to Z, okay? But it's just taking a bit of time to load. Come on. Okay, it should work pretty well if you have a decent internet connection. I'm actually using my phone's connection, because I've used up the number of searches I can use in a day while I'm doing a walkthrough earlier on. Yeah. So if it loads, if it not, I'm just gonna refresh it. Yeah, so there it is. So over here, scroll down all the way and you can see by alphabeticals, right? So these are all the content ideas that you can do, right? So knitting needles, Amazon, knitting needles and yarn, knitting needles, airplane, at Walmart, at Michael's, bamboo, beginners. So these are all the different kind of content that you can write about, okay? But now we need to shortlist a few that we are interested in, right? Or if you want to, you can download the whole CSV and you can get the whole data here. But what I would do is I will pick out five of the potential content that I am confident to write about, that I know more or less about the content. All right. So for example, now obviously I don't own a knitting needles company, but assuming I do, right? So let me search for five potential hobbies that I can write about, or content that I can write about. Let's see. Okay. So for example, knitting needles explain, right? So I kind of like this one. So all you do is copy, go to the template, and then just paste. Okay, so this is my first keyword. Now you want to do it for 5. And as you can see from the template here, it is by a 5 by 5 grid. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is technically I've segregated out to batches of 5, right? So you only need to do 5. So I'm just going to go ahead. I can close this already. Let me see. Okay, knitting needles for beginners. That sounds like something I could write about. I'm just going to paste. And then continue down. Knitting needles. Kmart. What the hell is that? Knitting needles materials. Okay, that seems like a good one. And knitting needles online. Okay. And let's see. Quality knitting needles. Seems like a good one. Okay, so now that you have your 5, so if you look through this list, you will have gotten 5 potential keywords easily. Now, assuming you don't, assuming when you put in your keyword in here and you don't have much data to work with, okay, not to worry. Just go to your second one, your second keyword, and just paste it in. If you don't like the suggestions that's appearing here, right, you can go to the second one, second keyword, and just repeat the same process. Now, remember, you only can search for 3 keywords per day on their free platform. So just keep that in mind. So once you have these 5, okay, now what you want to do is you want to search, you want to decide which one should you write about. Okay, now you want to do it by data. So on to step 2. So step 2, again, go, now remember, do not close this tab. Okay, you will need this browser later on, so do not close this. So on to step 2. So step 2, just go to Ubersuggest. This is a free keyword research tool. Okay, and all the tools that is required here are all free. So you don't have to purchase anything. Okay, all these are free. Okay, so once you reach here, now you want to find out the data that is behind all these keywords, right? Because if not, then you'll just be prioritizing which one you would like to write the most, or which one are your favorite topics, which you can, right? But you want to put in a bit of data so that you can justify, which content you should produce first. So once you go onto Ubersuggest, first of all, you want to change your country to whichever country you are at, right? Or your targeted customers, where your targeted customers are at. So in this case, United States, and you want to, and you want to put in your first keyword, just copy and just paste, and then just click on search. So what this is going to do is going to give you a few data that is required and also a puzzle for you to solve. Awesome. Okay, and while this is loading, just give it a while to load. Okay, while this is loading, as you can see here, it will give you all the data that is required. Now, this is not the best tool for keyword research, but this is a free tool which you can use it as a gauge for your keyword research, okay? So as you can see here, search volume 0, difficulty 0, and all these are 0, right? So I'm gonna explain to you the key matrix that you will need. Search volume, excuse me, keyword difficulty, and cost per click. Now, search volume is very simple to understand. It's just how many people estimated are searching for this keyword on a monthly basis. So if it's 0, it means 0 is estimated based on this platform. There are 0 people searching for this keyword. Okay, and SEO difficulty means how difficult it is for if you were to write this keyword, how difficult it is to rank for this keyword. Okay, meaning to say, if you write an article around this, will it be difficult for you to show up on Google? And in this case, it's no, right? Because this is based on like the competitors you are competing against, how strong is their website, how quality is your website, how quality is their content and stuff like that, right? And lastly is the cost per click. Cost per click means it's just a commercial value to the keyword. So it just means that if you're to be running Google AdWords, this is how much you'll be paying for this keyword, right? So if you're running Google AdWords, if you are bidding on this keyword, this is how much you need to pay if you like to advertise your website or your advertisement on this keyword. Okay, so in this case, it's $0. Now, don't have to worry about this. You actually don't have to worry so much about this 3 matrix, okay? And just focus on search volume. So in this case, what you do now is you just simply copy 0, 0. So in this case, very simple, 0, 0, 0. So you just put in 0, 0, and 0, and you go to the next one, okay? You're just collecting data right now. So copy and paste. And you might need to sign Google for this. You might need to create an account or sign into your Google Gmail, but not to worry, it is free of charge, okay? So now you can see the search volume, it says 400, estimated 480 people search for this per month. Oops, did not meant to do that. Okay, so 480, so same, you're just gonna repeat for this, 36 and 43 cents, 36, 0.43. Did I get that right? 36, 0.43, yeah. And then you move on to the next one. Knitting needles, materials. And this is 0, 0, 0. And knitting needles online. And then 1044 1.4, 1044 1.4, and then quality knitting needles. So all these keywords are revolving around my company. If I'm running a knitting needles company, if I sell knitting needles as a company, all these keywords revolves around my company, right? Around my industry. So 1044 0.22. 1044 0.22. So after you have gotten all these data, okay, the next step will be to do a very simple sorting. You need to sort all this out and decide which keywords do you want to go for. Do you want to produce content about? Okay, so I've made the template easy to filter. So all you have to do is filter by search volume. Okay, you can search by A to Z or Z to A, but it will search by putting the highest volume first. So in this case, for example, knitting needles for beginners seems like a more popular topic, right? So what you would do then is you will put your priority and you will list them down based on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being the most important and 5 being the least. So in this case, what I will do is I will definitely want to put this first, and then knitting needles online, maybe I can do it second, and then third, and then I might not even do knitting needles explain or knitting needles materials because it seems like there's not much search volume, right? So I might leave this two out. But if you were to go through this process and you find that your search volume, there's search volume for all these, then you want to categorize as, you want to list down all the priority, right? So for example, if I have 5 that have decent search volume, I'll list them all down here. And as you can see here, all these are conditional formatted to show you which one is the one that is most priority, right? So if you do 0, for example, or just blank. So in this case, I might not write content about this too, because you don't want to write content, or you don't want to produce content when there's not much of a demand, right? Based on this keyword data research. So after you prioritize what content you want to write about, now the next question is, what content should you put into your article, right? What sort of details do you want to put into your article? And that's where the notes come into play. Okay, so specifically, you want to put in like you want to answer people's questions. You want to answer, you want to put in potential topics. So if I were to be writing, say, a knitting needles for beginners, right? I want to find out what questions do people have. So all you have to do is go back to this tab over here, the first tab, and then just scroll up, and you can see all the questions that is here, right? And you can filter up, you can see the visualization by categories of what, how, who, can, where, or you can click on data, and this is easier to see. Okay, and then you can use this as a gauge to see which questions you can answer on the topic about knitting needles for beginners. So let me show you an example. Can knitting needles go through airport security, right? So this is not something that I might use. Right, see how knitting needles are best for beginners. Okay, so I might want to answer that. Okay, and just put it down under the notes. Okay, let me just sort this out. And then all you have to do is just press Control and Enter. Okay, and then you just look for a few questions that you would like to answer, right? And then over here, what knitting needles do I need, right? So in this case, you can always add your keyword behind. So in this case, what I'll put is, what knitting needles do I need for beginners? Okay, and then you just want to answer like 3 to 4 questions. You do not want your whole article to be about question and answer, right? But this gives you a good guideline on what your content should have, or what your content should answer, right? Because these are what your potential customers have in mind. So I'm just going to go for one last question. So which knitting needles are best for beginners? I kind of have that already. Why do you use what knitting needles can I take on a plane? Can knitting needles be bought on the plane? And knitting needles for beginners. Oh, okay, so the questions are over here. Can I take knitting needles? What? Carry on. How? Yeah, it doesn't seem like there is how to buy knitting needles. Okay, so how to buy knitting needles, I might change it up a bit. How to start knitting needles. How beginners start, or how can beginners start knitting needles, right? So that's a good one. So these are kind of like the content that I can put in and serves as a guideline for me. When I write my content, there's a guideline that I can follow, right? And then you can also, at the other hand, right, there's a guideline here, or just Google the top results. So for example, knitting needles, and just go to Google and just put in knitting needles for beginners. And you can see the kind of content that other people are writing. So for example, this is the first one. And you can kind of just look at the top content, what is it writing about? And you can kind of get an idea of what your content can be about, right? So best knitting needles type for beginners, I already have that. And then video tutorials, knitting needle size choices, but basically you can get a reference from here, right? So you can put anything you want inside the note section over here. And there you have it. You have a content, a potential content that you know about that is good for your business, that your customers might be searching for, and you have a guideline on what to write about. Or if you want to, you can always outsource this whole process to your team, or you can get somebody to write the content for you. You know, either ways, you have all these sorted out for you, right? And then next, what you can do is under the status, you can click schedule. So this means that you have scheduled this post to be created, right? And if you're working on this post, you can just change into in progress, right? If you're in the progress of writing this post, or if you have completed this post, all you have to do is just click completed, and you can get a status of all the data and all the keywords that you have, right? So say, for example, I not only do for this, right? I do for this and I do for this. So once I've done the keyword research for this too, assuming I've done the same process for these two topics, all I can do is just click schedule, and then this is in progress. So I'm writing this content first. So this template is super simple, super easy to understand, right? So this is for blog content. Now, what do you do if you want to create videos instead of blog, right? Or if you want to do both. So similarly, you will do the first step and come up with a list of content, right? So for example, I'm just gonna use this tree as an example, right? So repeat the same process earlier when I mentioned. Now the second step will be slightly different. The platform that you'll be using will be slightly different, right? Instead of Ubersuggest, you use a free platform called vidIQ. Okay, so all you have to do, head over to vidIQ. It will require you to register for a free account. Okay, now this account is entirely free of charge. You don't have to pay for it. So once you have the free account, log in. And what you want to do is go over to this section over here, excuse me, where it says SEO, and then click on keyword research. Okay, it's going to have pop-ups. Okay, but not to worry. All you have to do is just click on, you can click it away. Okay. Yeah. So it's going to have a pop-up. All you have to do is just click keyword research over here, and you literally repeat the same process. So for example, knitting needles for beginners, key in over here, search, and this will tell you in YouTube how many people are searching for it, right? So for example, knitting needles for beginners is saved that is 0, but you can use this as kind of like a guideline, because if knitting needles for beginners has 0 searches, but knitting for beginners has, you know, this amount of searches and this amount of searches, right? Then you can kind of twerk around the keywords that you found, okay? And you can maybe put a note on how to knit, under notes, how to knit or knitting for beginners. Okay, since there's no knitting needles for beginners, right? So you can either change your knitting needles for beginners to how to knit or knitting for beginners, because it's essentially the same thing, right? So in this case, I will change my keyword from knitting needles for beginners to knitting for beginners. Okay, and then the search volume, copy and paste. Whoops. Okay, 128,218. Okay, and then you repeat the same process for the second one. Knitting needles online. So 0 search volume. And then it says that the related keywords are showing up is knitting and how to knit. So in this case, I might change this keyword to how to knit. And then let's just, but you kind of get what I'm trying to do here, right? And then same thing, all you have to do is to search, is to filter by the amount of search volume, right? And just list it as priority 1, priority 2, and then the notes, same thing, the questions that you can target. And then you can go on to other YouTube videos and see what content that they are producing on the topic of about how to knit, for example. And then similarly, you can put a schedule. And then if you are writing in process and you write in process, so basically all these are formulated so that you can track them, you can track what kind of content you have, and you can continue this whole process and come up with a ton of content for your business, right? Because in this period of time, if you have nowhere to go, and if your customers have nowhere to go but online, and you have a ton of time to spend, you can literally churn out all this content for you, for your business, and make sure that your customers get to see all this content that you're churning out for your ideal customers, right? Because at this point in time, a lot of people are online, they want to look at content, they want to read content. And if your company is producing content at this period of time, guess what? You're going to eventually reach your target customers. Okay, so that is the fourth step. Now the next step is, after, say for example, if you have completed, okay, say I've completed this knitting for beginners. Okay, I've completed my content. Okay, if you want to make your content quality, what you need to do is add in graphics. Okay, and there's a very good and free platform you can use it. It's the one that I'm using. It's called canva.com. Okay, so go to canva.com. Okay, register for free account. Again, everything is free of charge. Okay, everything here, the tools that I give you are free of charge. You or your team can use it. Now, next you want to do is, say for example, you have created this content for your blog, right? For your website. So all you do is come to home. Okay, once you have registered for an account, come to home, and over at the top right hand side, click create a design. And with every dimensions, with every platforms that your graphic will be at, it will require a different dimension. Okay, so for example, if now you're creating for a blog post for your website, all you have to do, instead of setting custom dimensions, you can just go and click, just key in website. Or if it's for a blog article, a blog graphic, okay, and just click. And then you have a full template on what you can put in. You can put in photos, you can put in elements like grids, shapes, different colors, text, right? And while a lot of stuff are free of charge, there are some paid tools which you can totally, if you want to, you can sign up for it. If you don't, it's fine as well. So for example, I have no idea what knitting is about. I'm not a knitting person. So say for example, let me see. So all these you see here are pros, which means you need to sign up for it. If not, then you can just do a bit of freestyle, like best guide for knitting needles, and then bracket beginners version, right? And again, I have no idea about this niche. If you are working on your own business, you will have a good idea of what your niche is about. And then you can kind of put in like, say, I don't know, like a book that shows like it's a guide, or something like that. And then you just want to make sure that you have your brand colors. So for example, if your brand color is, I don't know what brand is knitting is, I'm assuming it's bright. So I'm going to just put this and then just play around with the color, with the, with the fonts. You can adjust it. Okay, and this is not looking very enticing. But again, I'm not trying to create this. I'm just showing it as an example, right? So once you've done this, okay, then maybe you can put in like your website, which is knitting needles company.com, right? Okay, and then you can just create a graphic like that, and then you can add into the finished post, and you can do as many graphics as you want. Okay, but this is not the key. Now the key is, once you have created this graphic, okay, for your blog, what you want to do is, you don't want to just put it on your only on one of your online asset, which is your website. What you want to do is, you want to make sure that you put it across, right? You create the content, you create a graphic for your website, right? After you're done, create a graphic for Facebook. If you have a YouTube channel, create a video. And if you have a LinkedIn profile, create a LinkedIn graphic. And all this will link. Let me get my arrow sign here. And all this will link back to your website. Okay, link back and link back. Right, you get the idea, right? So very simple, just go back to create a design, and then Facebook, and then Facebook post, for example, if you want to post it on your company's Facebook page, right? Just click Facebook post, and then the dimensions are optimized in a way that when you post onto Facebook, the dimensions are right for Facebook's platform. If not, it's going to screw up. If you post this on Facebook, the dimensions might screw up a bit here and there, and your words might be too big or too small and things like that. So all you have to do is just create another graphic here, and then once you have done creating, just click download PNG, and then just click download. And then there you have it. Your graphic is downloaded. Okay, and then just do it for your, similar to Facebook. If you have a LinkedIn, I should have a LinkedIn. Yeah. So I don't think it's LinkedIn banner. Yeah, but you can kind of use Facebook's dimension over here, and then just post it to LinkedIn. But the point is, you want to spread your content around your social assets, your online assets, right? So at this point in time, what you have done is, you have literally just came up with a bunch of popular content that you can write about, that your business can write about, that your customers might be searching for. And then you just gave them a ton of value. And at the end of the article, you can even put your something related to your brand, and then you can just direct them towards like the things you sell, or what kind of products you are offering, or any opt-ins. But basically, you want to do it via content, right? Because at this point in time, content marketing is going to work because of all the people that's going online right now. Okay, obviously this is just a very surface thing that you can do. There's a whole bunch of other stuff which you can do. There's a whole bunch of other products that you can use, tools that you can use, but most of them are paid. So I'm only going to be sharing with you all these free tools that you can use right now. Okay, so basically, once you've done that, what you need to do now, okay, after you've gone through after you have gone through with getting the template, getting the number of potential keywords you can use that you can write about, looking for the data and scheduling it and adding graphics to it, what you need to do then is you move on to the next batch, right? So you do every 5 batch, every 5 keywords, and you research for every 5 keywords, work on one at a time. And then once your batch is complete, then you repeat the whole process for the next batch. Okay, so congratulations. You just learned how to find content to write about. You just learned how to write popular content or in-demand content that your customers might be searching about, right? And that's it. So I understand that a lot of people right now are stuck at home, and I can't stress enough the importance of bringing your business online right now, because literally most of the people will be online. Most of the people will be online. And guess what? If your business is working on building your digital asset right now versus your competitors, which are not, end of the day, COVID-19 is going to end, right? The pandemic will go off, everything will go back to more or less normal, maybe not in the next couple of months, but it will eventually go back to normal. And if you can spend your time right now to build the digital asset or your business digital asset right now, then guess what? Once the pandemic is over, once everything is done, everything is cooled down, you will have an edge over your competitors, which are not bringing their business online, or which are not, doubling down on their online assets or building their online platforms and stuff like that. So that's it for the video. Now, if you like the video, please remember, if you've learned something from the video, just give us a thumbs up, like the video. And if you'd like to see more videos like this, just make sure to subscribe to our channel. And if you're looking for SEO services, you can always visit our agency's website, trev.com. And last but not least, leave down in the comment section down below. We want to know, will you be using this template to create videos or to come up with blog posts? Let us know in the comment section down below. Until then, stay safe, everybody, and we'll see you next time.